What's going on, everyone? So, the man in yellow. There is a lot of questions. Where is he from? How did he begin? What's his origins? Right? Why is he an old man? Is he really an old man? Is it just that's just the appearance he takes? Right? Is he the monster that lives in the dungeon? Why wasn't he, affected by being out in the daylight like the other monsters we've seen? Right? Like the list goes on, and there's going to be a lot that I imagine gets explored with the Man in Yellow, particularly in season 4, and likely as they continue, however many seasons. Supposedly, they want to do at least 5. Doesn't mean that they won't do more, right? Obviously, if the ratings are good and people are watching and entertained and excited, then I could see them keep going. However, right, when you're talking about the Man in Yellow, there is a idea that I've seen a lot of people propose, and I've responded to some of the comments and stuff about the Man in Yellow. What if he is almost like a demon or something, an entity, a spirit that inhabits bodies, right? Is it possible that the Man in Yellow is not really just the old man? That's just the inhabitants that he took, right? The meat suit for supernatural fans that know what I'm talking about, right? Like, you know, it is this entity that comes and can possess a person, right? I also think that could really open up an interesting element and dynamic, because imagine if the Man in Yellow could like possess Boyd, or could possess like Jade, right? Like that could be kind of interesting. Also, you see like kind of like the a bruising, I don't know what it, like this like bluish kind of tint around his face, right? Like is that kind of like from the wear and tear of like the entity, right? Like again, for those that have seen Supernatural, right? Lucifer, like when Lucifer inhabits a vessel, the vessel starts breaking down over time, right? You can see like the bluish like hue in like the face and jaw area stuff. But like, for example, sticking with Supernatural as the reference, because I know a lot of people have seen it. Very popular show. It's my favorite show actually ever. But you saw like, the dark mist that would, go down a person's throat, and then they would be possessed, and you'd be able to tell by like their eyes or whatever, right? Clearly there's not like a bunch of demons running around, a bunch of different like legions and stuff, but what if the Man in Yellow, like that could be his power, that could be part of like his gimmick, right? And what happens if you kill the vessel that he's in, right? Maybe that's something that is the only way he can kind of take the next vessel, right? Have you ever seen the movie like Fallen with like Denzel Washington, or what's the Wes Craven movie? It's Shocker, I think it is, where basically like it can travel body to body, and the person die, you can just jump into the next body, right? Like, what if it's something like that? I do think that could be a very interesting kind of point in perspective to add to the show of like, no one is safe because the Man in Yellow clearly isn't affected by the daylight, right? And is he affected by the talismans? Is he able to just like walk into somebody's house if he wants to, even with the talismans? Like, what are the kind of, because Fromville clearly has like rules and like, consistencies, right? Even like Randall talked about, with Boyd in the bus, where he was like, these things do the same thing every night. The monsters are in the same place every night, follow the same routes, the same patterns, everything, every night. Is the Man in Yellow kind of the difference maker, right? And I also think it's funny that like, Supernatural had the yellow eyes demon, and now you have, the Man in Yellow. Um, maybe there are some similarities, maybe there are some connections in that regard. I mean, the the first like real introduction that we got of the Man in Yellow a was a painting by Miranda, and that painting, he doesn't look old in that painting. So now, granted, Miranda made that painting, however, 30, 40 years prior to when we actually saw the Man in Yellow. But again, nothing ever changes, right? Like nothing ever happen. Like, it's always the same. It's always a constant, right? So why is he now old? Is it just the painting? Is that just how Miranda painted him? Right? Like, because he's not like all wrinkly. Like, he doesn't look like an old man in the painting, right? He looks, that's why people were like, oh, it's Randall, right? Like, but you see like even like the little hues, like the little shadowing in the face and stuff that's very similar to like kind of that blue hue that you see in the man in yellow's face, right? So again, is this that old man? Is this him younger and he kind of just grew up? Or was this maybe a similar vessel that he took? Or is it just because like the boy in white is getting older? The boy in white is aging. So maybe the man in yellow is aging as well. Maybe he's changing and going through a metamorphosis. Okay, well, what happens if does he age to a point where he dies? And if he does, okay, well then what happens? Is that it? Do you just got to keep letting things change until he just phases himself out? Or does he just move on to the next body? Does he move on to the next vessel? Right? Does he kind of make that transfer at some point? I do think that that could be kind of again, an interesting dynamic to play into, right? Imagine if, he could kind of hop around between vessels, and that's kind of a way that he like runs through the town. Even like when the village got wiped out, right? Back when Victor was a kid, right? And Victor was the only survivor. They're all just spread out in the middle of the street, which is really odd, right? Now, could the monsters have just like ran through everybody? Sure. But, they all hid, right? That was like before the talisman stuff, but they were all hiding. They all weren't just like in the middle of the street. And I've even proposed the idea, like, what if the man in yellow was the one that like ran through everybody in the street? What if the man in yellow was the one that actually killed everybody, right? And I said, like it almost like he teleported where he was. Now, that doesn't mean that he actually did. What if he just like jumped from body to body, right? And just like, kind of like how we've seen in the show Supernatural, right? Where the demons can just like go from person to person. And, what happens if, all these people are running and he's just hopping body to body, body, and just like ripping through people, shredding through people, right? And they had similar kind of attacks like the monsters. Right? Now, was it the monsters? Possibly. Or maybe it was the man in yellow that kind of just ran through everybody. Again, I imagine we're going to get some insight. We're going to see some stuff. I'm not going to lie. Like, you could argue that if that were to happen, like if the man in yellow could just like transfer bodies, I do think that'd be a little kind of OP, right? I think that'd be like, because again, he could just like take over Boyd and then kill everybody in the town, or take over Jade or Tabitha or whomever, right? Or Julie, and just, story hop and change stuff, right? Like, I think that there would, if you were to do something like that, I think there would have to be restrictions. Like I said, the body he's in, if you kill that body, if you kill, say, the old man that is currently being possessed by that, whatever the entity is, right? Whoever killed him, let's say you have this transference. Okay, something like that I could see, where it's like it only happens if somebody kills the man in yellow, right? So maybe as his body is starting to break down and wear down, he kind of set somebody up to do that, right? Maybe it's even a character that we know and we love or whatever, right? I also think, though, if you were going to do something like that, why wouldn't you have Jim be possessed by, like, I think that would have been kind of cool. Imagine if Jim got possessed by the man in yellow, right? Look, like I say all the time before, like, you can't rule anything out. Anything is a possibility, because that's what the point of the show is. And that's what the fun of like exploring these theories and ideas and stuff are. Some are, of course, more far-fetched than others, but it's all in good fun. It's all good entertainment. It's all just, we're talking, we got a year and a half, 2 years before this show actually returns. So, why not have some fun? But I am excited to kind of unpack and unravel the man in yellow. I wish we would have gotten it sooner. But clearly, he appears to be kind of the main entity, that he appears to be kind of the big bad, I imagine. I could see him kind of being like the muscle, so to speak, and maybe there's kind of like the overseers in a way, right? Something like that. I could definitely see happening, but I think it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how they unpack the Man in Yellow and kind of the approach that they have with him. And I don't hate the idea of him being able to like transfer bodies, but like I said, I think you got to have some type of restriction. There's got to be some type of like caveat that, you know, because like then like I said, what stops him from just like jumping into Victor or whatever? Like I think it'd be cool to see him like jump into Henry, all right, and, like have that impact. And now like Victor's got to like kill his father or something like that. Like I think you could have some kind of impactfulness in a way with that. I think that could be kind of cool, and he kind of just like jumps bodies, jumps ships. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea? Do you hate the idea? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you think like, yeah, it's a cool idea as long as there's again some type of restrictions to it, and it's not something where he could just kind of like run rampant through everything. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know either way down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.